night, 9 o'clock, time to slam. Sex, love, and misunderstanding. With Dr. Tiy-E, he the man. Relax, let him lead the way. He got a plan. It's the slam. Slam, slam,
Peace and love. Welcome to another episode of S.L.A.M, Sex, Love, and the Misunderstanding. I'm Dr. Tiy-E, licensed psychosocial therapist. And here in the love room, we talk about everything that is love, sex, and misunderstandings. So today, I have a very special guest, as all my guests are special, but this is my first blue and white guest. And my blue and white means she's my soror member, Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Oh wow, she's amazing. Met this young lady going into check my P.O. box, and her office is right next door some years ago, and hit off, amazing sister, and I call her the tax lady, and you'll find out why in a second. But without further ado, y'all please show some love for Miss Tarryn Sampson. Yay, and the crowd goes wild.
Hey,
welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here, looking beautiful.
Of course.
And looking even more ravishing in your blue.
Of course. The best color out there.
That part. You hear all that New York accent. New York / Trinidad / Atlanta. You just...
I tell people I'm an apple with a mango seed and a little peach fuzz.
Just a little peach fuzz.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Not be confused with a plum. Because plum's a little rough.
Yeah, you know.
They want to fight because you always want to punch me. No.
Because you deserve it.
Wow. Listen, watch this. Peace and love. That's what we represent.
That's what you say.
That's why my son don't like you.
People, y'all see. Go ahead.
So tell the people about Tarryn Sampson.
Okay, well, as you said, I'm from the Bronx. My family is from Trinidad, mother and father. They migrated here. I was actually the first person in my family born in the United States. My dad's side of the family moved to Brooklyn. My mom's side moved to Toronto. So I've traveled a lot, you know, just through childhood, just from different family being different areas. I was a private school girl all through. Then I went to college in Philadelphia, Temple University. And after graduation, I moved down here, and I've been here. My degree is in accounting. I took my first tax class in '96 with H&R Block, and just always stuck with that. And in August of 2014, I said peace, deuces to my job of 15 years and stepped out on my own. And funny, I didn't really...
Hold on. Before we get too far into that, we're going to get to all that.
Okay.
I just want you to give a general introduction about you and all your loveliness.
Okay, all right.
But we have a tradition here in the One Love Room. I said we have a drink to start off, and I see that you are a whiskey connoisseur.
I am.
Okay. Because you don't see many women. I don't, because again, I'm not in the... You know, I don't drink, so I'm not the...
Yeah.
So is that a growing thing with women nowadays, whiskey, or has it always been something?
I think it's a growing thing. A lot of us are moving into the cigar world as well. Okay. Whiskey, bourbon, and cigars, they go together.
Cigar representing the penis. Representing
Is that how
that phallic symbol.
Is that it? Hey, the fatter the better.
Oh God! I'm gonna like you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let's drink to the Blue and White family.
Blue and White family.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I'm gonna need to take the whole thing to deal with your ass.
You got the right one today. You ready for the smoke?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I ain't never scared.
Okay.
You better ask somebody.
No, I don't need to ask nobody. Go ahead.
So what we do in tradition, you know, this is called the gold plate, and what we do is you pick a rock up out of here, and you tell me how that rock defines you in relationships, or you just with yourself. Any rock you choose.
I am going to inspire.
Okay. And why inspire?
I choose inspire because I want to live my life that is an inspiration to others. One of my favorite sayings is, you got to see it to believe it, and then believe it to achieve it. Okay. And the things we don't see, I think, hinder us for what we believe we can achieve in life.
Okay.
Right? So I try to post and show things that we all can achieve these things.
That means black.
Well. But you know, growing up, we saw a lot of white people on TV and whatever, and we associated that with them, and not with us.
Absolutely.
Because we didn't see it.
Yes.
You know?
We live in a white nationalist society, period.
Right,
you know,
exactly.
Is white nationalism.
Yep.
Yes.
And so I want to live my life such that it's an inspiration to others. I had other people before me that showed me some things that said, oh, okay, I can do that. So I want to do the same thing, pay it forward.
So no, you can keep that. That's for you.
Okay.
Right. So now I get to pick a rock. There you go. Now give me that one.
Strength.
Oh, gosh, out of all the ones I can pick. I know she's about to have a field day with that one. But go ahead.
But you know what? It's funny. You may think that, and I hear that a lot, but I wasn't the strong girl growing up. I was always more quiet, shy. Like I reconnected with some friends from elementary school.
Okay.
I went to private school, so and this was quite a few years ago, and we met up. They come into town every so often, and so they realized I was in Atlanta. They were like, all right. And so one made the comment, she said, you know, I look at your pictures and you're like the center of attraction, like in the middle of everything. And she was like, not my little quiet Tarryn. Because as a kid, I was always quiet and shy, you know, and I wouldn't consider myself this, even now. But I think part of who I am as a New Yorker, moving to the South, the disparity, in how we are in the North versus the South. I had a lot of battles when I started in corporate America because I was very boisterous.
Yes.
And
it's just a New York frame of mind, just the way you...
Right,
Gotcha.
exactly.
Okay.
And so where people saw the strength, that was really just
me
being me from where I grew up.
Right.
But in terms... as a general sense, I would say I was more of a shy person that kind of grew into this.
Grew into strength. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me my rock back.
Oh, I don't get this one too?
Run me that rock. Give me my rock.
Yeah. Oh, y'all see that.
So, I say for women, there are certain things that they look for in men, and I call it loves, L-O-V-E-S. And you put in order what makes sense to you and what you look for in your mate. And L is for love or loyalty. O is for obedience to God. V is for vulnerability. E is for empathy or being an empath. And S is for sex. What's your order? What makes sense to you?
Okay. We're going to start this right. What makes sense to me,
yes,
right?
Well, this is all about you right now.
Okay.
All you do it right.
So, obedience to God is first for me.
Okay.
Do you want me to go ahead and go into why? Or list my order
just
first?
list the order, yes.
Okay. So, obedience to God. Tell me them again.
You have love and loyalty, obedience to God, vulnerability, empath, and sex.
Okay. Obedience to God, love, empath, vulnerability,
and sex. Disrespectful ass. Who put sex last? You wouldn't be here without sex. God.
But you know what?
Yes.
You can have a whole lot of sex without the love.
Whatever. You started with obedience. Why is obedience to God important to you?
I think that relationship with God, if it's important to you, will then trickle down to everything else.
Okay.
Right?
Go ahead.
And so that will be your foundation.
Yes.
And then everything else will build upon that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sister, a couple episodes ago made a good point because she said obedience to God was last. And I was like, expound on that. She said, because I don't know what your obedience to God mean. Obedience to God be you whooping my ass. You know what I'm saying? So she's like, now if it's explained, then it can be. But just because she says, like a lot of times women, they get into church, I want a man who's obedient to God. Just because he's in church doesn't mean what you define as obedience to God is what he defines obedience to God.
But that's two different things.
Okay.
In church, has nothing to do with obedience to God.
So it's about what you physically see is obedience. Okay.
Yep, exactly.
Okay.
Because and that is a true statement, but that's a true statement with everything.
Yes.
Each one of those things.
Yeah, well, because you put that one first. Again, when she made that point, I was like, never thought about it, because people define, like you said, like to your statement, to your point, everyone's like, depending on how you define it, but it's how you define obedience to God.
Exactly.
And so it's
What it means to
important
me.
that you as a woman, with that man who you say, you're my life partner, let me explain to you what obedience to God means to me, as opposed to expecting him to think the way you think as it relates to that.
But you said the key thing is me first knowing what it means to me.
Yes.
Because some people don't. They say it because it sounds good, but they haven't really defined that within themselves. I was talking to a family member the other day, and who just had a breakup.
Okay.
And what happened was, well, I'm not going to go into all the details, but the key thing that I told her, I said, what I've realized in life, when we set our standards and we say A, B, C, and D, if something doesn't fit it, it's not for you, and walk away. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be disappointed. And so it was a situation where they thought the person was getting out of a relationship. And when that family member found out that the person was still in a relationship, the family member was like, I don't deal with that. But the person was like, no, we're getting out of it. Come to find out that was totally not true. I said, had you stood on what you believed in, if you're with somebody, I don't even get involved. This wouldn't happen.
But most people don't stand on what they believe in.
100%.
They're easily swayed, or it takes very little, instigating to get them to
veer from it.
Right, exactly. And again, so when 5 people who stand on we become like the Martians. Like you honor your word. You do what you say you're gonna do. People find that weird, and then when you accuse them of not doing what they're supposed to, like, now you accountability. That's a whole different thing.
Right.
So thinking of accountability, you move from the Bronx, New York, to Atlanta, Georgia. And I know what you mean about, because when I'm in New York, people are like, yo, what's up? It's like very in your face. And Georgia's kind of like laid back. So what was that transition like for you? And was it overwhelming? Was it a rude awakening? Was it peaceful? What was that like for you?
So I would say mostly in the corporate world is where I struggled the most with that. We just say what we're going to say, and prime example, I had, so the job that I worked at for 15 years before I started my own business, I moved up in different positions within the company, but at the time, I was a staff accountant. And I reported to a VP of another company that was underneath my company. So we were the umbrella, and we had different companies underneath us. And I used to have to give a report. And so she sent me an email regarding whatever I was supposed to give. But she was very demeaning, in my opinion, in her email. And I wrote this long soliloquy of how you're not going to talk to me.
Nice,
And gave her a rundown of who I am and all of that.
Check yourself.
Exactly. And, I took a little heat for it. But as a New Yorker, that's how we are. That's just what it is, right? And then just through my corporate life, I've learned to tone that down and massage that and make it a little bit more professional. Because it definitely wasn't professional when I ran it, I gave it to her.
And we have to take in consideration, which is that you're darker skinned, yourselves, and which that's a whole nother situation, because they're already threatened by you. I understand, because I'm of the darker hue as well. So us dark skinned folk, we got, because us dark skinned folk got to stick together. Just stay over there on your side again. You a hater.
And you're a liar.
You're a hater who just hates on the host. But the complications that comes along with that. You start being a dark skinned sister, and then they are expecting to roar. So when you roar, it's like, so how's that been throughout your life? Again, being able to articulate yourself, being a woman of status, how does that being dark skinned, how does that play for you and against you?
So Are you talking about in corporate?
Yes,
or just
corporate
in life?
America. Yeah, corporate America. Mhm.
So I would say typically, I wouldn't fall into the angry black woman.
Okay.
I think we both believe in astrology,
Yes.
right? And as a Libra, we tend to be peacemakers,
Yes.
right? And I don't believe in the raw. You know, I believe in. I'm gonna voice my opinion. I try to be very understanding to the other person's side. Once again, I think that was the New York in me that caused that conflict in that situation. But overall, I'm gonna hear you out. I'm gonna try to be fair.
Okay.
I don't like when we appear to be the angry black woman. Because there's a way that you can articulate things and not be that. I think the assumption is when we stand up for ourselves that we are being an angry black woman.
Got you. Yes. Yeah.
So and it's a matter of trying to balance that, being strong and forthright in what we're saying, but I also believe I cannot do anything about how you receive what I say.
Right. Okay. So, for example, growing up in the Bronx, which is black and Latino primarily, and now going to Temple, which is predominantly white.
It's not.
It's not? So Temple isn't a PWI?
It is, but my circle, like being there, if you were on campus, you would think it was a black school. You gotta remember, it's in the heart of North Philly.
Right.
Now, I'll give you a funny story. I remember I had a girlfriend. She was taking the train. And I don't know if she was exaggerating. I never really got the full story. But she said she was sitting in the train and she had post earrings like this.
Okay.
She said they came and took her earrings out of her ear.
Damn.
While she was sitting in the train, and she didn't move, But no, North Philly is hard.
Oh yeah,
It is.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah, that's facts.
And when I was on campus, you saw mostly us.
Oh, okay.
I remember there was a post that was like HBCU-ish. That whole
funny.
Right?
Oh, wow.
That whole battle.
Okay.
And the HBCU people were like, hold up, first of all, you're not. But, and I've learned post all of that most HBCUs were started by white people.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think the attendees realized that.
That part. So you felt right at home at Temple.
Well, you know what?
As far as the blackness.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a lot of New Yorkers.
Now, was your private schools, were they black?
Yeah.
Okay, nice.
So my high school was mixed.
Okay.
Right? And if you walked into the lunchroom and you stood in front of the lunchroom, it was white kids on this side, black kids on that side. Not because of any segregation, but because of your circle of people, like, oh, I'm going to be at such and such table on that side of the room.
Okay.
But there's been plenty of times where, we've crossed over the lines. But literally, if you look and stood in the front of the room, most of the white kids was on one side, most of the black kids were on the other side.
Okay. You decided to pledge to become a member of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. Why Zeta?
So, and like I mentioned, my family, first person born in the United States in my family. So I had no history, no understanding of the organizations. A big sister of mine, she was in college. Not blood sister. We went to elementary school together. So she went to Syracuse, and she became a member of Sigma Gamma Rho. Okay. And so she was telling my best friend and I about the experience and telling all the stories, and so she was like, the AKAs are stereotypically light skin, long hair. Right. The deltas broke away from, the zetas were this, and Sigma Gamma Rhos. And so at the time I was like, oh, the deltas, they broke away from that, because as a dark skinned child, I always felt like I love my complexion, but I didn't feel the world loved my complexion, right? Okay. And so I liked what that stood for, but that's all I knew. Right? Okay. So when I went to school and I attended the rushes, the invitationals, Never went to AKA. Before I went to Temple, I went to LIU, Long Island University in Brooklyn.
Yes.
My RA was a Sigma Gamma Rho. And so she brought us all into her room and to have a conversation. I was like, oh, I'm not really interested. So I had Delta and Zeta on the table still in my head. So when I went to Temple and I attended both, the women at Temple, that were members of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority at the time, they came across very professional, very businesslike. Some of my closest guy friends, they pledged Sigma. I was on their court.
Oh, wow.
I was there 24/7 with them.
Oh, wow.
You know, and so when I attended the Delta Rush, and I was like, no big deal. Like, you know, I didn't have to. And one of my brothers was like, go to the Zeta Rush. And I was like, all right, I'll go. And they just presented themselves so well.
Right.
As true finer women.
Yes.
That I was attracted to that.
It's funny. I got a funny story. Similar to you, when I was in the Air Force, my good brother, my big brother, Troy Brown, he said, I'm going to take you to Delaware State. I had never been on a college campus before in my life. Okay. In my family, you graduate from high school was a big deal. Okay. Oh my God, you've made it. You're successful. Right.
So you went from high school into the Air Force?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Okay. So I'd never been on a college campus in my life. Troy Brown, who was in the Air Force, said, hey, brother, you know, what you doing? Come go to campus. I'm thinking it's for white folks. I'm like, black people don't go to campus. They don't go on college campus. So I get there like, oh, dear God. I saw that dessert walking around, all these black women. I was like, oh, dear God. I said, oh, what have we here? So he introduced me to it. So I got out the Air Force. I said, you know, I'm going to make you proud. I'm going to be a Sigma. So I get to my campus for summer. It's a summer school, so everybody's kind of, you know, they're gone for the summer.
And what school?
Eastern Illinois. Okay. And Tony Romo was our claim to fame.
Okay.
So it was only alphas on the yard for the summer. It was the RAs and the RDs, and so you know, I'm hanging out because at the time I'm in the Nation of Islam. I'm pro-black. I'm Mr. Black Man. Right. So I'm like, my brother's my brother. So I'm hanging with them. You know, we playing basketball today, just kicking it. So at the end of the summer, they threw this big party. So my job already had on my mind, I'm going to be a Sigma, right? Right. So I was through this big party. So afterwards, they said, hey, you know what? You know, I asked all the brothers to help with cleanup. And so afterwards, they said, everybody sit down, let's talk. They was like, yeah, so anybody thought about pledging? I just was like, yeah, I want to be a Sigma.
It was like...
Right, the whole room got quiet. I'm like, what's happening right now?
What happened?
I didn't understand the game.
Exactly, same with me.
I was totally naive. I was just like, oh God, did I just say something wrong? Right, so it was just funny. So when you said that story, it made me think about my story. Yeah. But the beauty of being that first generation, though, you know, you go to and you like, and now it starts from you.
Exactly.
So now you do that, and now now years later, you're the owner and CEO of TS Solutions, and which stands for Tarryn Sampson Solutions. Correct. And you deal with small businesses, getting them on track. You deal with having people with tax liability and things like that. So, like, that's a big freaking deal, especially for the month of January through or December through.
January through April is like, and then after that it kind of dwindles, but my business is year round because everybody's all like, well, what do you do after tax season? Taxes, accounting, you know, all of that stuff. And I've rebranded, or I'm in the process of rebranding. I started off as TS Tax and Accounting Services. Okay. I've rebranded to Solutions because I don't want to just offer tax and accounting services.
Oh, wow. Nice.
I want to offer small business solutions.
Okay.
You know, when I left, you know, as I mentioned, I worked at my last company for 15 plus years. When I left to work with small businesses, small business owners. Didn't know what specifically, but I knew that's what I wanted to do. Okay. So that was October of 2014. Okay. And about November, December, I got the word. God said, you're going to start TS Tax and Accounting. And I was like, why? I was doing accounting on my old job, and I was doing taxes on the side. But I was obedient. And I believe through my obedience, God was like, how you think you're going to work with small business owners? How are you going to get your foot in the door? How are you going to learn what they need if you're not in the room? And so that brought me to hearing the stories from, like, when I first started, I would have people walk in my office and, you know, we sit down and just talk about their business.
Right.
We'll be in tears, sharing stories, just about the struggle, just all of
Right.
it. And so that's how I started to learn, like, okay, this is what small business owners need, and how can I be a help in that space.
Define small business.
So, according to the Small Business SBA, Small Business Administration, a small business is any company that has revenues of $1 million or less.
Okay. Okay,
Right?
I'm just a small business.
Look, because I got $1 million. I'm big time,
Right. I'm definitely part of that.
Right, so that's the definition. For me, it's any entrepreneur, solopreneur, maybe you have a small staff, that you're growing and building your business to get to what the next level is, for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I call her the tax lady. She has this huge, big ass sign out there that says tax and accounting, and I'm so proud of you, my sister.
Thank you.
So proud of getting seen this literally in this plaza. She has probably one of the biggest storefronts out there. I'm like, wow. She bigger than the damn USPS store that's next to her.
He's exaggerating.
Wow, I'm just like, wow. I walked in, I'm like, what's up, Sora? Free stuff? Gotta get free tax. She's like, get in line. You gotta pay like everybody else.
No, nothing for free.
But after this podcast, I get the free next year. Yeah. So let's dive into relationships.
Okay.
Who taught you about relationships, like with men? Like, who taught you that dynamic of, or what did you see in front of you? Like, this is what I want to be. This is what I want to have when I grow up. Where'd you get that from?
So you want the real?
I want the real.
Or you want the cute?
I want the real. I want the sloppy Joe of it. I want the maybe the drool outside of your mouth, sloppy.
Okay, so I will, in all my honesty, I was never the kid who thought about marriage. I grew up with both my mother and father.
Okay.
In my household, and pretty much everywhere. So like I mentioned, I had family that moved to different areas from Trinidad.
Okay.
So I spent a lot of time in Philadelphia before I went to Temple. That's part of why I choose Temple University with my godparents in the summer. And then I spent half of my summers in Toronto with my mother's side of the family.
Oh, so you've been to the Caribbean Festival there?
Oh yeah, Caravana. Yeah, I'm planning on going this year.
I went once. I was like, oh dear God. But go ahead.
And so most of my family was married. So there's always a mother and father in the household. And so I made a comment to my god brother a few years ago, and it took a while for me to realize my mindset and where it came from. I was definitely a daddy's girl.
Okay.
100% a daddy's girl. Any picture you see with my dad, I'm right here. You know.
Did you have a drill?
I did.
Okay.
A screwdriver.
Wow.
Everything.
Wow.
I had a green bottle.
A green bottle? It was a green bottle.
Yeah, you wouldn't know.
Right, I have no idea what that means.
A Heineken.
Oh wow! At what age was you popping Heineken?
I tell people my first bottle was a green bottle.
Oh, nice. Shouts out to Dad. Right, okay.
But, and then even when I spent my time in Philadelphia with my godparents, but the men who I loved the most hurt the women that I loved the most, right? And so as a child, like I said, I was always a daddy's girl. Anytime there's a family function, I'm right there.
Right.
My mom didn't go. And there were other people and a woman who would go. But as a child, I didn't know until...
wow.
Right?
That she was the other woman.
Exactly.
Okay, got it.
And and so I remember I was about 16 years old, and my best friend was dating a guy, and one of his best friends, he was interested in me and another friend. And he made the comment, not to me, but I heard later on, like he wanted her to be the girlfriend and me, you know.
To be wifey or the son?
Okay. And I remember saying, I'd rather be the chick on the side who he's having a good time with than the girlfriend who's at home crying.
Mm.
And years later, in my 30s, I reconnected with a guy that I had that type of relationship with in college.
Okay.
And he called me one day and he said he wanted me to be like his main, like he wanted me bona fide on the side, because he's married with family.
Oh, well, damn.
Right?
Damn, that's a bona fide on the side. Damn.
He was like, if I got to give you a ring, whatever.
Interesting. Okay.
But I was so offended.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to soul search. I said, why are you offended? That's how most of your relationships were.
Mm.
And when I did my soul searching and having a conversation with my sister, rest in peace, miss you sis, love you. Because she was always the opposite.
Okay.
Because she was at home with mommy.
Okay.
When daddy was out doing his thing.
Okay.
I was with daddy growing up. But at that time, I was in college. So she was at home seeing mommy cry and, deal with that part of it. And
so she replicated that. She duplicated what she saw in her mom. Like she became who your mom was?
Well, she helped me to understand my statement that I made back then.
No, but I'm saying, but your sister was more like your mom.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead. Okay.
And so it took me back. I was like, why are you so offended when that's how most of your relationships were? And it took me back to that statement, and then it helped me to connect that what I saw with my dad and in my household.
Right. Okay.
I didn't want to be at home sad and crying.
Got it.
I'd rather be.
Yes.
Right.
It makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so I dealt with that for a long time. I also at the same time wasn't the woman who was trying to take that man away from his wife.
Okay.
So I looked at that as that's me, in a sense, protecting my mother or the women in that space.
Yes. While
protecting myself from that same hurt.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Right?
Because if I can see you once every blue moon, I'm good.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I only, and because then I already know you're a cheater, so I really don't want you as my man.
Okay, so
I'm not fooling myself.
Got it.
But at the same time, I did have emotional attachment because I also wasn't the type of woman that ran around and dealt with this person, that person, and that person.
Okay.
But I think in my mind, I felt like I was in a safe space because I already knew you had someone. So there's no fooling that I thought I was the one and then you were cheating on me.
Right.
Right? Because I already know there's someone.
Got it.
But through time and spending time together and all that stuff, a relationship does form and does bond.
Facts.
Right?
Especially when intimacy's involved.
Yes. I say it all the time. Intimacy confuses things.
Yeah.
Like it'll keep you in something way longer than you need to be.
Yes.
Versus if you didn't have the intimacy.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, but it took a very long time for me to break that mindset. Yeah, I'm a firm believer. The things that we experience in life as children.
Yes.
It's like a house, the foundation of a house.
Yes.
You build a house and there's a crack in the foundation. You build a house on top of that. Every time you roll that ball, it's going to roll because the foundation is incorrect, right?
Solid, yes.
And so just like as a therapist, you can't break somebody of something, but what you can do is help them to recognize it and then live with it and make the better decision once they're aware.
Yes.
Right?
And you got to be able to live with the words that you're saying to the person. You can't say, well, no, like sex complicates things, then keep getting involved with sex. Having sex with the person.
Right.
Doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Those are those baby mamas and baby daddies, they still sliding in.
Yes.
Going back and you want to know why she tripping. Well, you got a whole nother relationship. You keep dipping back here, so now you got the two women,
that part.
battling because of sex,
So have you ever been in, I'm going to define as a healthy relationship?
Yes, I'm in one now.
Okay, is this your first time in a healthy relationship?
No, not a first time, but as we grow and develop and mature, you can have better relationships.
Have you been in a healthy relationship with yourself before?
I would say it's a constant work in progress.
And the reason why I ask is a lot of times what we consider to be healthy as a duo, we haven't identified as an individual.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Because I ask my clients, I'm like, hey, I want you to tell me the happiest year of your life. This was your year. And some people, I've never had that. You know, they never had those happy moments of like, wow, I was living my best life. You know, so, but for me, it's like my senior in high school was one of, between that, Freaknik, the Philly, what's the Greek festival in Philly? Oh dear God, oh God. So great, the Million Man March. I've had some years.
Yes.
So I can name bam, 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 bam. So with me in a relationship, I can identify what happiness looks like. But when you can't identify what happiness looks like for yourself, it's kind of, now we get so caught in the collective, we lose sight of the individual.
About individual, right. And kind of like we spoke about earlier, being able to identify what this thing means to you.
Yes.
What does, a healthy relationship, what does happiness look like for you?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So there's been moments where you've been happy with you. Okay, beautiful.
Yeah, and learning myself, I know I give a lot. I'm very social.
Okay.
People would say I'm a social butterfly.
Yes.
But then there's times I need to be a recluse so that I can regenerate myself.
Yes.
To then be back in the forefront.
Yes.
As well.
That middle is called an ambivert, which are half introvert, half extrovert. It's called an ambivert.
Yes.
Because I'm an ambivert. Like when I get outside those doors, I'm on fire.
Yes.
But at home,
exactly.
So a relationship, that's always been a challenge for women because they figure like, no. At home, we bring this shit all the way down.
Exactly. and sometimes I don't want you right here by me.
Man.
I need to just be with me.
Yes.
Because in the world, I'm there for everybody.
Exactly. I need time to regenerate. I got to recoup this energy.
Exactly.
And you want to be smothered. I'm like, I have a problem with smothering when it's right. But I'm like, hey, but sometimes I need that space.
Yeah.
Let's talk about being a mother. You know, you got a baby girl. How did that change you? Because again, New Yorker, Trinidadian, hyper independent, like, yo, it's your girl, I do what I want to do. Babies shut shit down. You know what I'm saying? How did that appeal to your nurturing side, or did it?
So I've always been, and as you know.
Here we go. Do not bring up TNT.
Where's my baby? 'Cause your baby loves me.
He does not.
He does. But I've always been, my mom, like, we've always loved children. Always. And so when I had my own, I have one. She's 24 now. Shout out, baby girl.
Right. And my son, 24. Maybe they need to connect. Go ahead.
It did kind of change my world a bit. One thing I would say that I did in hindsight that may not have been a good thing is I kept all relationships away from her. Everything.
Family included?
No, me with any person that I'm dealing with. Right?
Okay, yes.
Because my biggest fear was bringing someone into her life that did something to harm her.
Yes, got you. Yeah, so you protected her, which is kudos. Okay.
Which is, I protected her, but I also blinded her and blocked her from relationships.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Right?
And the ebbs and flows and okay.
Exactly. And so that's one thing I may have done differently. There's a lot of things I probably would have done differently. Hindsight is 20/20 always. But yeah.
Does she have your swag, your now confidence, or is she more like the earlier you?
I would say she is the me, the now me.
Okay.
In school, I was in athletic. I wasn't any of those things. I was definitely last to be picked for the kickball game, like all of that.
Can you play spades? Oh God, no.
Don't.
Okay, you're black. Okay, go ahead.
But I'm not really a big shit talker because,
okay, that's
because I don't like to eat crow, But so like when she was in high school, that's one of the things that I always wanted to make sure I supported and encouraged those things in her. So
okay,
when
what sport she play?
She was in the band, so she
Okay.
did color guard.
Nice.
She was on the swim team.
Okay.
So those were her main things.
Okay,
so
nice.
I
Okay.
wanted to make sure. So technically, I've never learned how to swim. Technically,
Right.
but I took it as an adult.
Can you swim now? Well, we had this talk. Have you gone to the swim? Go ahead. Just.
I've taken swim. It's just the level of confidence. Like I feel like I can go.
You got a problem with swallowing?
That wasn't an approved question.
Yeah. I'm gonna encourage you, like I encourage my people. If I can get off my 50-plus-year-old ass and go take swim lessons, it was the most invigorating thing I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
And it took time, it took patience, but within 3 months, I was swimming my ass off, and now I love to swim.
Okay.
And it took time. Shout out to Swim Revolution. They are out.
I'll try that. So like I said, dreams of grandeur, right?
Okay.
So when I did my first half marathon back in
People, that's 13.1 miles.
13.1, don't forget the 0.1.
Right, because a lot of y'all be thinking these 5Ks are marathons.
Right, like I did a marathon. Oh really? How long did it take you? Oh, an hour.
Yeah.
What you did a
5K.
Right, 5K. Right.
Bless your heart.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
And so after
The half marathon.
the half marathon, my circle of friends, it was a gym that I was at.
Okay.
And so some of the other women were talking about don't laugh. Do not laugh. I didn't know, okay? So other women were talking about doing an Ironman. Didn't I say don't laugh?
Oh, okay.
Didn't I
Oh,
say?
didn't I live that part? That was another part. Oh, my bad.
And so me and two other ladies, we were like, okay. We were like on the side because they're all like,
Right,
yeah,
right.
we're going to do it because they're ready. And I'm like, look, I learned how to ride a bike as a kid, but the day that I learned, I never rode again.
Oh, God.
So when I lived in the Bronx in
So
an
you don't
apartment.
you don't know how to ride. You don't swallow.
But I was running. But I was running. But I did the one half, right?
Okay,
I did the
okay.
one half.
Oh God. Okay.
Shut up. And so me and those two women, we signed up for swim lessons. We took it at the aquatic center out in Douglasville.
Okay.
So that was my first set of swim lessons.
Nice.
So we were doing that at the aquatic center, and
To prepare for the Ironman. Oh, bless your heart. This is gonna go bad. But go ahead. This is gonna go so bad.
that we ended up not signing up for, right? But and then we started every Sunday.
Okay.
Going on Silver Comet Trail.
Yeah, love
right?
it. Yes.
Yep. So I went out there. Let's go back to the swim. So we were doing it. I always had to be on the edge because I wanted to be able. If I panic, I could hold on to the edge and pull myself up. Right. So I called myself. I'm going through. And I didn't quite turn my head out of the water enough.
Okay.
And I took a deep breath in. So you want to know if I swallowed?
Oh God! Did you panic?
Oh my goodness! I panicked. I'm like, what? And the trainer, he's standing. He's like, just get up. Like, what are you doing?
Just stand your ass up.
Right.
Wow.
Right. So I was traumatized.
Okay.
Then I took lessons again after that. So that's why I said technically I do know how. I've taken it quite a few times, but it's just my level of comfort.
Okay.
And so you're just
And
like with
confidence.
anything, right? It's
Yes.
in your head.
Oh man,
right?
yeah. Trust me. Every time I get in the water, it's a battle.
But then you do once you
Commit
get
to
through,
it. Yes, yes, commit
and
to
so,
it.
Yeah, and then so with the biking, we would go every Sunday. So that first time, I told the same guy the same thing. I learned as a kid, but I lived in the Bronx in an apartment. We didn't have a bike. So when I was in Philadelphia,
Yes.
my older god brother, shout out to Sean, he taught me how to ride the bike.
Nice.
So he's holding it and I'm riding. I'm like, don't let go, don't let go, right?
God. Okay.
And so I'm like, and I'm talking to him, and then I realize he's not answering me, and I look back and he's not there,
Oh,
and then I
wow.
fall and topple over, and then that was it, and
Oh.
I went back home. So that first Sunday. Have you ridden at the Silver Comet
Oh,
Trail?
God, yeah,
At the back shop?
Yeah, yeah.
That's on Floyd?
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So I was there. People had passed me. I'm like, get out the way, But then after I got
Yes.
my groove, that we rode every Sunday, and it was so exhilarating. It
Yeah.
was just it was great,
Yes.
So
So you didn't do the Ironman?
hell no.
and shout out to Floyd Bicycle Shop because I'm an avid cyclist now. I stopped running. I'm a cyclist, and one day I went in there and I said, I got a question. I'm seeing all these fat, out of shape men zooming past me on these bikes. What's happening? And he was just like, look at your bike. He said, you got a dinosaur that's out there, Corvettes. And I said, oh, so I had to upgrade immediately. Because I didn't realize because my bike at the time was 48 pounds. Now my bike is 14 pounds.
Wow.
Big difference.
Right.
I'm out there with them.
You like this, right. You know, and you clip in and everything?
No. And I ain't wearing the tight shirt. I'm from Chicago. You got to respect the game.
So you don't wear the little...
No.
Come on, you got to be in the fit.
No, they
got to be in the fit.
Like what you got on, they have. I'm out there with a t-shirt and some shorts on. Now, you got my bike shorts on.
Right, I'm about to say bike shorts.
Padding for your ass. Oh, it's real. Because the most I've done on Silver Cummins is 54 miles.
Okay.
Yeah. So I get out there and get it in.
All right.
Question, would you consider yourself a good woman?
Yes.
What's your greatest strength and your greatest weakness?
I would say they're one and the same.
Okay.
The fact that I'm very understanding and I try to, what's the word I'm looking for? I try to not accommodate, but to...
nurture, assist.
I try to be, I'm going to just say, just to move on, just kind of balance the situation.
Okay,
right?
got it, okay.
So, one thing I would say, and my daughter's father would probably agree, because I always tell him when I hear horror stories, I give him a call, like, you are so lucky to have me. And she don't pay for me.
Oh, the BDE is real, but go ahead.
But I try to be understanding. I believe in, compromise and working together. Sometimes to my own fault.
Got it. Okay.
At the same time. Because as a Libra, we don't like a lot of conflict.
That part. Yeah, we definitely conflict averse.
Right.
Give us peace, but we don't like bullshit either.
Exactly.
So it's balance.
Yep. So I would say that aspect of myself is my strength and weakness at the same time.
What advice would Tarryn Sampson give to her 16-year-old self right now?
That you are enough. Like I said, I think just a lot of it. Growing up in the time that I did, being a darker skinned individual, also being from my heritage being from the islands,
Trinidad.
and moving. If I moved in Brooklyn, it may have been different because there are a lot of West Indians in Brooklyn. But where I was, there wasn't. And so when my friends would come over and they would hear my parents' accent and be like, "What is she saying? What?" And I understand.
Wow. Okay.
I was a little bit more timid in that space and feeling lesser than, feeling like I didn't fit in. My name was different. You know, I didn't have a common name. Just all of that made me feel like an outsider. And I wanted things that would make me feel like I belonged.
Okay.
Right? So I would tell myself, you are enough. Your differences, your individuality are all your strengths. I have a sign in my office that says, no one else is you, and that's your superpower.
Nice.
And so I would tell myself that. But I also believe the path that I've taken in life brought me to who I am today. Okay. So.
You are what men will call a quadruple threat, right? Let me explain that.
Yeah, please do.
You're beautiful.
Thank you.
You got breasts, ass, and lips. So the question is, are men threatened by you?
You know.
And then we got to deal with the career. You know what I'm saying? You're a boss, CEO, founder, owner. So are men threatened by you?
You know, so growing up, I was never, in my opinion, a hot girl.
Okay.
Right? So back in the 80s when I was growing up, the cute girls got all the drug dealer boyfriends with the hot cars and all of that.
Right.
I was the friend of that person.
Okay, got it. Okay.
Right?
Yes.
And I was always just in my circle, the little sister, the one that they always wanted to protect, like
Okay.
that, right? So I didn't grow up with that mindset.
So your boyfriend worked at the bodega.
But you know what? I didn't have a lot of boyfriends per se. I was the little sister to everybody.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Right? And so I didn't grow up with that level of confidence.
Gotcha. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
As I got older, I nurtured into more of this. So I didn't all my life have that,
gotcha.
right?
Oh, yes.
So I never saw myself as you just described me. And I didn't. Yep.
Yes.
And I didn't see myself as someone that men would be threatened by.
Got it. Okay.
I've learned that and heard that as an adult. People saying that, men are intimidated by you, and I'm like, really? And I'm just timid. I just bounce around. I'm like, hey, what's up? I'll come punch on you, whatever, and keep it moving.
Right.
So I would say from hearing it, yes, I've heard that I intimidate men.
Okay.
In actual experience, I wouldn't say that I knew that or I know that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Okay. So do you find that men are clumsy around you as far as how to interact, how to talk to you? And for example, because you're top heavy, do you find men just staring at your breasts and not looking at you?
In the past when I was a heavier woman,
yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
Not so much now, but I also don't pay attention to all that nonsense.
Okay, because I've heard women say men can be disrespectful.
Yeah, you want to be like,
right, like
my eyes are here.
But I tell women all the time, it's like me standing with my dick out. You automatically gravitate downward. So,
but the titties ain't out. They in a shirt and in a bra.
But they big, so they can't help but to be out. Shit. I just like saying because I'm tall. Like saying, well, I ain't tall. I'm tall. Shit. but I get it. Do men, because we're getting into the heavy sex, the sexy part, the sex part.
Okay.
Do men know what they're doing in the bedroom? Because men claim to feel like, my partners, I go in there, I lay this down. And I'm just like, probably not.
Not always.
Not always, okay. What percentage of men would you say are clueless?
So it's been a while since I've been out in them streets because I am in a committed relationship.
You are a saint, yes, we understand.
I am in a committed relationship.
Saint. Or Puritan. Go ahead. You're in a committed relationship.
Yes. But I don't know percentage per se, but sometimes you're like, when are we gonna be over?
Wow.
Like I have friends and family members who be like, look, I gotta touch it first because you're not gonna waste my time.
So size does matter.
Yeah, I would say yes.
So there's a difference between this and that.
So one of the things you said earlier, actually before we started filming, you talked about the first thing is it has to be an attraction.
Yes.
First.
Yes.
Right?
Uh-huh.
So if I'm seeing this or that, I'm going to start here.
Because it's attractive.
It's more attractive.
It doesn't mean he knows how to work it.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean, but it's something, it's appealing to the eye.
Because step 2 for you was now that I'm attracted to you, now I have to see who and how you are.
Yes.
Do we gel?
Yes,
right?
okay, right.
So now, I'm going to go for this. Do you know how to work?
Yes.
Not,
Got it.
And so sometimes I will honestly say we miss out on the greatness of this because we're automatically appealed to this.
Interesting. Okay.
Right? Because we'll say no, like,
So that could work.
It could. I think it can.
But more from a psychological than a physiological. Because I've heard women say, if you put your mind, it's where you take yourself. But see, that becomes problematic to me because as a man, and I've been in situations where I've been with women, I'm just like, she ain't doing it for me. So I'm thinking about an X in my head. I'm like, oh, she give it to me now, bam, bam. So, but I know women do that frequently. Y'all go on places like, it was just Albert probably got it more times than he know it. And dude up there sweating everything and had nothing to do with him.
Right. Doing that, yeah, girl, yeah.
Right.
Like,
So, have you ever faked an orgasm?
Yes.
Okay, and was it more for him or was it for you?
It depends.
Okay.
It may be for him because once again, as a Libra, we're not trying to hurt nobody's feelings, right? Like, but sometimes as a woman, it's harder for us to get there.
Okay.
So I know, for the most part, if I'm going to get there or not.
Okay.
Right?
Got it.
And if
Yes.
it's a day that I'm not going to get there,
Yeah.
I don't want you sweating all that on top of me. It ain't going to happen today. It ain't going to happen today. Right?
Oh.
So then that sometimes it may be for me like, oh, yeah, I got it. Yeah, baby, good. Thanks. You know, because I don't want to go through it anymore because I know I'm not going to get there.
Okay.
You know?
Beautiful.
So
beautiful.
it could be, you know, either or for them or for me.
How important is hygiene with men?
Oh, yeah, that's big.
So, because I've heard women complain about, for example, it looks disastrous down there. It's like, well, you know, keep that, you know, you want that area to be presentable.
Yeah.
And then men not taking pride in keeping that area smelling nice. And she, look at you, look at you looking, oh God. I heard women say they have to hold their breath when they go down.
Oh, hell no.
Right?
Hell no. So,
Okay.
before I even get there,
Okay.
I already know
Okay.
if you're going to be halfway decent.
Got it. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
I got it. Yes, I know exactly what you're saying.
And once again, I don't know if your viewership is really into astrology, but as Libras,
Yeah.
that's really key for us.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Because we are OCD, like we are very neat and tidy people, and we look at people and right away we like, okay, yeah.
We definitely start with our eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
Right?
Mhm.
So yeah, if your outward appearance doesn't seem to be well kept, then I already know that is not going to be, and so we're not even going there.
Okay. Because we're winding down. Is sex underrated or overrated?
I definitely wouldn't say it's underrated.
Okay.
I would lean towards overrated.
Okay.
Because once again, you can have great sex with a person. And it all depends on where you are in life and what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a relationship, that's not the most important thing. You can have great sex
Yes.
with anybody, but not be compatible relationship wise.
Okay. Yeah. Love versus compatible. I love that. Food versus. Would you rather have your favorite meal or great sex?
Was that on the approved list of questions?
No, as I stated, we would deviate on it.
I gotta find the contract.
Tentative. These are tentative questions. Remember, you're honest.
Yes. I'm being honest, but you know,
Okay.
as a Libra,
Favorite meal or great sex? Which one, woman? It ain't rocket science.
I'm gonna say great sex.
Great sex. Okay, well that's rare because the average sister like, feed me, give me that great meal first, then we can worry about this over here. But when you have the one, but when you have that connection with somebody, it can be beautiful and it's amazing. But that connection is.
So my original answer was gonna be food, but I said I was wavering within my head. My answer, not that I'm sex adverse, not at all.
Okay.
But I was trying to figure out my real truth in this quick second.
Yes, got it. Okay.
So my first answer was going to be food, but then
Okay.
I went to sex because, there is a great feeling with having great sex.
Yes. When I get that feeling, come through, Marvin.
Right. That was my mom's guy. So, but anyway, we're not gonna go back there. I chose my answer.
Okay. So, what advice would you give men about how to approach a woman, and just what general advice would you give to men about relationships? Because sisters, y'all let men know, but based off your experience and what you hear from your girlfriends and your people, what advice would you give men?
I would say 100%. It may sound like a cliche, but honesty is the best policy. The same situation I was telling you earlier about the family member in the relationship.
Yes.
And how that became a fiasco. Had you been truthful and honest from the very beginning, you would have avoided all of this other stuff.
That part.
Right?
Okay.
Even with me in the type of relationships that I had in the past, the honesty of I'm already in a relationship, I have a person or whatever, allow me to be honest with how I deal with you. right?
Okay.
And so if I made the decision, I made a knowing decision to be involved with you.
Based off the honesty.
Right?
Yes.
But if you lied to me and then I got involved with you, then you have no recourse if I snapped off. I wasn't that type because once again, I was protecting my mother in that type of relationship, and I've never been in that space where, but with that person, my family member that I was talking about, her and the spouse, became and went against. But you got that because you lied.
Yeah.
So the first thing is honesty is the best policy, but it goes back to what do you really want? I remember one time my daughter's godfather told me, he said, men recognize a good and great woman that they have, but may not really be ready for that relationship. So they'll keep you tethered to them while they're still trying to go out there and do their thing because they know that you're a real and great thing. They don't want to lose you, but they're not really ready for that type of relationship.
But when men are, if you're the one, you're going to know immediately. Men will let you know. But the part what you're talking about, men are, one part of most men being a dog is what I agree with. A dog will bury a bone in the backyard, right? Not because he wants that bone.
He don't want nobody else to get the bone.
And he can go
that's
retrieve
exactly
it.
what he was
He
saying.
can go retrieve it whenever he wants to.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I tell men, stop doing that dumb shit. That's inappropriate. Let the sister go. So we're going to go through some rapid fire, then I'm going to let you go, and you get an amazing guest. Now they make you sweat out. Oh, God. You're so cool under pressure.
Look, you was about to get the smoke, but you lucky. Go ahead.
That whiskey. Favorite place to vacation?
I love so many places, but I really enjoy a country with a beach and a beautiful city that I get to see. So I love to. I hate to hear people who've gone to a country and haven't seen the key parts of it.
Okay.
We went to the beach. That's it. You went to wherever and you didn't go see. No, I'm gonna just say Paris. You didn't go see the Eiffel Tower. You didn't go see the Louvre. You didn't go. So I like where there's a balance.
Okay.
Yep.
Favorite dessert?
Key lime pie.
Favorite artist of all time? Music artist?
Anybody that know me know Hove is my man.
Who?
Hove, Jay-Z.
Oh, Jay-Z. He belongs to Beyonce.
First of all, that's for the camera.
Okay.
That's for,
That's for the camera. Okay,
yes.
All right. Doggy style or on top?
Who on top?
You.
My preferred position is missionary.
That's not what I asked you.
But I told you my honest thing.
That's just laziness.
It's not laziness.
That's what it is.
I throw it back.
He's still
Don't
lazy.
do that. No,
the
it's
man
not.
be on top. He got to use his hip flexors, his pelvic bone, his biceps to stay up top.
So that's what it was.
He's laying there like,
no, I don't lay there. Okay, first of all, but that's where I get the hit.
That's where the spot gets hit.
Yeah.
Favorite part of the man's body.
The arms.
All right, thank you. Got to ask you this. I had a sister on a couple weeks ago, and she was a professional penis watcher. She said 85%. But she's an educator. But she just said she said 85% of women looks at men penises the way men look at women's breasts and ass. Would you agree with that?
You know what?
Okay.
I'm gonna say yes.
Okay.
Right? Because this is more recent for me in terms of maybe realization.
Yes.
But I do find, the whole gray sweatsuit.
Oh, that's what she's talking about. Yeah. She said that has brought her because she goes to her son's game at the gym, and she said, "I be in there about to have a nervous commotion."
Right. Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. But once again, I might have been doing it all along and didn't realize it. But in recent years, yeah.
Okay. How do my viewers find Tarryn Sampson? First of all, thank you for being an amazing guest.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me.
And she deals with small businesses. She deals with taxes. And help get your business solutions on point. She's great at what she does. How do they find you?
On all social media platforms, TS Tax Services ATL.
TX Tax Services. T is in Tarryn, S is in Samson. Services. Tax.
Service.
ATL.
Yep.
Yeah, I already inbox me. I seen your information. Once again, thank you. You've been an amazing
Thank
guest.
you
Appreciate
so
your
much for
honesty.
having me. Mhm.
Hey, Dr. Tiy-E, another episode of the S.L.A.M. We out.
It's Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, time to slam. Sex, love, and misunderstanding. With Dr. Tiy-E, he the man. Relax, let him lead the way. He got a plan. It's the S.L.A.M.